Hi everyone. So we are back for week 3. We're talking about the WIAT 3 assessment considerations and descriptive statistics this week. I'm going to go over activities 1 and 2 and give you some feedback and just kind of go over some different things that kind of came up as I was grading. We're going to be able to practice the Brigance in class so that you can, kind of play around with that test a little bit. We'll be talking about some assessment considerations, and then this is the big part about this class. It's really important. Is we're going to talk about descriptive statistics. So what does it mean to look at a percentile rank, to explain to a parent about age equivalent or grade equivalent? How can you kind of break these ideas down into something that the students and the family can understand and other teachers you work with can use so that they can help develop an appropriate educational program for the students. Then we are going to move into learning about the WIAT 3 and going through those activities. As you can see, we also have an IRIS module this week. So the IRIS module is online, so I can actually go through it right here. So you can see I've got a link right here. You're going to click on that link. And you can see, there is an error with that link. I've now fixed it. So now you will click on this IRIS module link, and you can see right here it's got a link to an outside online module. And for this module, you can see that it's got 5 steps: the challenge, initial thoughts, perspectives and resources, wrap up, and assessment. And you will actually go through that, and they're also listed right here, so you can see that both of them are there. Then you're going to go through and you're going to hit begin. Also notice that it's, let me just go back, it is an estimated completion time of 2 hours. So there we go, we're going to hit begin, and they've got this little video for you to watch, and there's also transcripts if you prefer the transcripts. And then they have ask you to jot down your initial thoughts about the challenge. So here's 4 questions that are in the challenge, and you'll just write down what your answers are. Now your answers most likely will change from right now to after you finish the module, and that is just fine. These are just your initial thoughts about high stakes testing for students with disabilities. So then you'll go through, and it has all these different perspectives and resources. So they're actually asking you to click on each one of these so that you can learn about all these. And you can see that there are all of these different pages within this assessment. So this will get you to the next, and then next. And you'll go through and you will hit, so there you go. See how we're moving along that line? You're going to hit all the way until you, we're just going to skip to 10. Of course, you won't do that. That gives you the credits of who put this all together. Then notice that this goes along with the page numbers. Then you hit next, and it says the wrap up, and they have another little video for you. And revisiting the initial thoughts. So now, you gave responses at the beginning. Have any of those changed is what they're asking there. And then they have an assessment, and these are the questions. And I typed these all out on your sheet right here. So you have all of these exact same questions right here. And so once you finish the assessment, then you can give your feedback on this if you'd like, but then you have completed the assignment. So that's when you will, and here's where that document is so that you can type right in there. And then you will submit your module here for a grade. All right, let's go back. And so that's the IRIS module. And then also in class and with the readings, you'll be doing activity 3. And remember, I always say to use notes from class, readings, discussions, and activities, and your own experience. So here's the questions for activity 3. That's where you'll turn it in. What do you think are 3 of the most effective ways to reduce disproportionality of certain groups being inappropriately referred, over-referred, or under-referred for special education services? Part of that is in your textbook. We'll also be talking about that in class, and then anything in your own experience. And then I'm going to have you explain these concepts to a parent or student. So in layman's terms, how do you change a raw score to a derived score? And I want you to include age equivalent, grade equivalent, and percentile rank in that answer. And also I want you to describe normal distribution, and I want you to include the terms mean, central tendency, variability, and standard deviation. And all of that is in Chapter 3 on descriptive statistics, and we'll also be talking about it in class. I'm working on this in class. The third question is, why is it important to follow test prompts and directions exactly? This is where you're most likely going to have fidelity somewhere in your answer. Next is write 1 to 2 sentences about the Wyatt 3, including the age, subjects covered, criterion reference, norm reference, or curriculum-based assessment. So I want you to identify which one it is. And then we're going to be doing another draft of the student background assessment report. So this should be draft 3. And so I've just kind of listed everything that's there, and I want to know a little bit more about, how the student does in structured versus unstructured, maybe multiple teacher interviews if possible, strengths, interests, and also how we're going to be culturally responsive with your student. And each student has their own culture, so we have to be thinking about that, and family has their own culture. So how will you be working with the family and the student during this assessment process? And finally, the feedback is I'd like you to describe after class what your experience with this course is so far, including how you feel about the teaching style, my teaching style, and what I can do differently to make this experience more impactful. I really do appreciate any feedback that you can give me because I want you to get the most out of this class. So there's activity 3. I have an example assessment report, but I've gone over that last week. I'm just trying to kind of slowly show you some of the examples. Now, none of the examples are perfect, but it'll at least give you an idea of what to expect when you're writing your report, if you want to look at it. And then you have the Brigance 3 sample record form. And let me just show that to you real quick. So I'll download that. And all I did here was I wrote out the different subtests, possible subtests for language development. And then you just want to take a look at how many are correct, how many total questions were there, and then the percentage. And really for the Brigance, because you're really trying to just break down what the student's actually able to do, it's going to be different every time you keep score. So we'll be practicing that in class. And then here's the revised PowerPoint. As you can see, I'm going to go over activities 1 and 2 and also activity 3. Then we'll be doing some Brigance practice and then talking a little bit more about parental consent, informed consent, the IEP teams, and making decisions and different ideas for reducing disproportionality. And then here, hopefully we'll have enough time to go over coming up with how to describe these things in layman's terms. And then we will jump right into the Wyatt 3 subtest. So, which you can see there's a ton of PowerPoint slides. We will not get through all of these, but I like to include them on this week. And then I'll just cut and paste as many that we need for next week. Here's all the questions on the IRIS module for high stakes testing. And what you'll need to be doing by the 1st is reading Overton chapters 4 and 5, completing activity 3, and completing the IRIS module for high stakes testing. And just to kind of send you off, this is a nice chart that I found on how to encourage students. So there's growth mindset and what to say, which is, and versus fixed mindset. So it's, when you learn how to do a new kind of problem, it grows your math brain instead of not everyone's good at math, just do your best. So it's kind of, this is just going through and changing the way that we think about what kind of feedback we're giving to our students. Anyway, as always, if you have any questions, please call, text, email. I am here to support you.